Hi, this is Kayla Valerio, comic cover artist and the creative director for the Artist Bullpen, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
Jason was backing me up. I'm like, what? What?
Relax. What does that mean? Relax, dude.
Yeah, that makes me feel good. It shows this. This is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 1016. Time flies when you're having fun.
Really does.
And I'm Vince B.
Oh, thank God you are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
This is true, and of course, I am one of the greatest auteurs to ever walk the earth, Martin Scorsese.
Shout out to Cliff.
I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll disagree with you.
My man, see? Well, you're an Italian, you can't. It's like
it's
against the law for an Italian to not say Martin Scorsese is one of the best directors of all time.
Yeah,
but
I like a lot of his stuff, but
I mean, you and every other human on the planet except for Dap and Cliff. But yeah.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, you're not Martin Scorsese. You're Jason Wood. Yeah. Together again here on 11 O'Clock Comics, brought to you by, I'll get it, brought to you by cheapgraphicnovels.com.
Mm-hmm.
Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Everything you need to know about them is in the name. OGNs, omnibus editions, manga, trade paperbacks, one-shots. If it has the spine, art books, if it has the spine, you'll find it at cheapgraphicnovels.com for far less than the retail prices. Excellent shipping, fast, the whole 9 yards. I could go on and on and on. But if you're a regular listener, you've heard me make this spiel a million times. Cheap graphic novels is just that good. And on top of all the retail chicanery and the sales and the nick and dent and all that stuff, there are specials as well.
There are specials. There are a few things we pull out each week. We post some things on the Slack for our listeners over there. And then I pull a couple things for the side just for us to remind you folks that there are things like A Thing Called Truth trade paperback for $22.49. Dr. Magdalene Traumer, a brilliant scientist with the noble dream of saving the world, meets Dorian Wild Fang, a free-spirited wanderer who fears nothing except her own destiny. Together, they embark on a wild adventure across Europe, chasing a mission that proves that life is about the journey and not the destination. Along the way, the seemingly polar opposite companions find common ground on a journey that sparks an unexpected romance as they navigate the complexities of discovery and the challenges of a world on the brink of chaos. This beautiful volume collects all 10 chapters of the groundbreaking comic series, A Thing Called Truth, including parts 6 through 10, previously only available through Kickstarter. This was originally a 5-issue miniseries from Image. First volume was collected. The second half of the story, the lovely creators went to Kickstarter, published it, and now Oni is collecting it all in one great big volume. Atlas Comics Library Volume 8 Snafu hardcover $29.99. When Harvey Kurtzman and Bill Gaines launched EC's Mad comic book as a warmly received satirical magazine, a flood of imitators filled newsstands, but the first and best to follow in Mad's footsteps, coinciding with the second issue of Mad magazine, was Snafu, edited and written by Kurtzman's former boss, Stan the Man Lee. Snafu was packed with Marvel Atlas's top humor creators, and following the Mad playbook, filled pages with ad and news spoofs alongside film, television, and book parodies like The Blackboard Forest by Russ Heath, Pete Kelsey's Booze, and Bleed You Bum by Joe Manili, Drugnet by Howie Post, Emily Toast's Etiquette Page by John Severin, and Snafu's Lovely Ladies by Bill Everett, with production supervised by Marie Severin. Seen here in some of the most eye-popping work of Manili's short life, including great Hollywood caricatures done in a wash style. And finally, When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, trade paperback for $14.99. Father Barrera is a disgraced priest haunted by his part in the tragic death of a child. As penance, he is exiled to the remote South American island town of Puerto Cristina to apprentice under the enigmatic Father Stygian. Controversial exorcist. Exorcists are normally trained in the Vatican, but Stygian has his own way of handling demons, methods that predate even the church. As Barrera seeks to unclock the mysteries of Stygian's strange practices, he uncovers an island rife with evil and supernatural phenomena. What do these possessions mean, and how are they connected to a mysterious hospital patient, one who's been in a coma for nearly half a century without aging a single day? Rising star author Gus Moreno, whose debut novel, This Thing Between Us, was awarded a Best Book of 2021 recognition by NPR, joins forces with visionary artist Jacob Rebelka from Cyberpunk for a mesmerizing and thrilling descent into hell itself. Collects When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, numbers 1 through 5.
I agree.
Respect.
Yeah, it's When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee is a great series, mostly because of not to undercut the writer's contribution, but I love Rebelka.
You did, yeah. That's what you were saying.
I do. And two, Joe Manili doesn't get enough props.
He does not. He absolutely does not. Yeah, I got to get Snafu.
The Atlas series is so good. It's not unexpected for Fantagraphics to publish a great series, but if they are scooping the scanned images from the internets, they're doing more work on them than has been done. So yeah, it looks great. It reads great. The colors are off register as they were originally printed. It's so good. Yeah. cheapcoffeenovels.com.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. As is the stuff I'm drinking.
For reals.
Yeah. I'm imbibing the Double Trouble again. Charles and Charles, which is from 2019. It is a 58% Syrah and a 42% Cabernet Sauvignon from California. And it is. Do you want me to read the speech?
I would love that. Nothing would please me more.
Okay. Sustainably farmed and made naturally, which native yeast, some stems, and mineral intervention. Aged in older barrels to bring concentration to the already chewy, rich, and dark-fruited profile. Our obsessive approach to craft, soulful and bold wines, has led many to refer to us as Double Trouble. We kind of dig it. And so do I.
Respect.
Yeah. It's really good.
Nice.
It's too good. I can drink the entire bottle, but I'm not going to.
Nah, you should.
Yeah. No. No.
I am drinking an oldie but a goodie. Little Close de los Siete time, Tap.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, we found some. We were at the store restocking after the holidays depleted our wine supply. So we well, I shouldn't say we. Beth went to the store to restock, and she was like, "Oh, look what I found." So I was like, "Oh yeah, let's run it back."
That woman.
Special lady.
Yeah.
Holden's got a new girlfriend, so he was like asking us questions. He's like, and then we'll get to what Dap's drinking. But he's like, "What was your first date?" You know, and we're like, "Oh, Philly Zoo." And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right." He's like, "What was your worst date?" I'm like, bro, we've been together 30 years. Like, I don't know. Like, he's like, haven't you ever had a bad date? I'm like, I'm sure we had terrible dates, but like, I don't keep a chronicle of like our bad dates. Like, I don't know what the hell to say.
Where the focus is.
Yeah.
If you think about the bad dates, you're going to have them, so don't sweat it.
What you drinking, Boo?
I just this is also an oldie but goodie. I dusted off the I grabbed the bottle of Michter's because it was right there in front of me. So Michter's, absolutely smashing straight whiskey.
Nice.
I concur.
Respect.
Whiskey's good stuff.
I don't agree, but like, I love that you guys love it.
Especially on a nice chilly night.
Yeah.
Colin was like, when everyone was home for the holidays, he's like, I don't understand you guys. He's like, you have 2 liquor cabinets full of liquor, and I feel like it's the exact same liquor that's been here ever since I was like born. And we're like, yeah, we don't drink liquor, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, is it still good? I'm like, yeah, like, I don't think it.
It's actually better.
Yeah, I'm like, I assume it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, that's good. I'm like, I don't know that. That's good. I don't know. Does liquor go bad? I don't know. Like, I'm like, that's a good question.
Like, I'm more worried about it evaporating than anything else.
Yeah, that would be my concern as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the wine doesn't last that long. So
no, the wine we get through.
Yeah.
But
and depending on the wine, if it sits too long, you end up with vinegar anyway. So
right,
the wine you can't. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah. So, but
I think for soon, maybe the Kloskers. I'm gonna have some whiskey, probably some. What's the one with the red drip?
Oh, the Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark, yeah. Speaking of that, thank you for bringing it up. We are recording this on Thursday, January 8th. You will all be listening to it a day or two after that. And when you listen to this, Sunday, the 11th. Sunday the 11th is the last day that you can vote on the 11 O'Clockers. I am closing the Google Sheet down. Well, truth be told, I'm closing it down Monday morning because I'll be on a red-eye from the West Coast Sunday night. But when I get home on Monday, I will be closing the balloting down so that we can tally the results and get them ready. Because our annual 11 O'Clockers episode will be next Thursday. We will record that. So yes. And as a reminder, thank you for those who have voted. 2 things. Very simplified system this year and last. No more 37 different categories. It's 2 categories. Your 10 favorite comics of the year. They can be a single issue, a one-shot, a limited series, an ongoing, a graphic novel, whatever you want. 10 things. And all I ask is you have to put them in order. So you can't just give me 10. It's 1 through 10 because we weight them. And then number 2, your 5 favorite creators of the year. That's it. 5 creators, 10 books. We will present our own 10 and 5 on the show like we did last year, and I will read through all of your lovely people's lists as well. And as we've done for like 5 or 6 years now, maybe this is I think this is the 5th year. Thanks to our great pal Max at Cheap Graphic Novels, we are doing a sponsorship contest. So one of you lucky people who casts a ballot, we will read your name from a random number generator on the episode, and you will win a gift certificate to CGN. And you can buy all of the wondrous books that you've heard us talk about and wanted but have been saving up for. So there you have it. So get those votes in if you haven't already.
Sounds good. Domain. Why don't you go first?
Dude, I got to say.
Okay.
I read 3 fucking bangers this week. 3 absolute grand slams. Like going out. Well, I guess starting the new year on the high note. The one I will I'll start with is one that I think is the most unique of them. Like it's like nothing else I've ever really read in comic form, and that is Insectopolis, A Natural History, written and drawn by Peter Kuper. This is a big ass book. It's like coffee table type of hardcover, like oversized hardcover. It is really wonderful. I mean, I assumed the book was going to be about insects, given the name, but it's the structure and conceit of it was delightful. It starts in the way I would have expected it to start. Beautifully drawn, a grown up, like an adult man walking with like his, I'd say like high school age sister who's like visiting him in New York. And he is he's an insect expert, and is it etymologist or entomologist? I was confused too.
One of them is the origin of language.
Right, yeah. He is the insect. He's an insect expert. But anyway, he is taking her to a museum in New York for a special exhibit about different types of insects. And as they're walking across the city, he's explaining to her like why it's going to be cool and why he loves it, and so forth and so on. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to be like the narrator of the book, and we're going to learn about different insects in comic form. Like, that'll be cool. But where Kuper really knocked me on my ass is as they're walking in the prologue, where they're walking and having this conversation, they arrive at the museum, and there's all kinds of fire trucks and police, and his sister's like, well, what's going on? And then you turn the page, it's like a black page, and you turn the next page, and it's all kinds of insects flooding into the same museum, and the museum's stone empty, and the insects are narrating, where like they're speaking to each other in English as if they're able to, and it's clear that this is some point in the future, and basically humanity's gone. Fucking so like basically that prologue was like the end of humanity, and I was like, oh shit. But like, even though that's a really dark and dire development, that's not really like, that's the only thing. Not to say the end of not to belittle the end of humanity, but like then it basically just clears the decks for the conceit of the book, which is all of these insects flying and crawling around the museum, where they are seeing what's said about them, right? Like basically, as we would take our kids to the museum and teach them about things, these insects are taking their kind, their progeny around, flitting and flying around this museum, reading about like themselves, their species, as well as other types of insects, and the history that these insects have played, the roles that they play in culture and mythology, and the ecosystem, and just fascinating stuff. So it's like a spoon full of sugar helps the medicine go down, right? Like it's basically an educational book, really explaining why insects are vitally important to the planet, even though for the most part we think of them as gross or something that we try and not be around. And it does a wonderful job of like in a playful and incredibly well illustrated way showing us their value. And like they show the value of sure, they do like bees and stuff, which are obvious, but like they show the value of mosquitoes and the role that they've played, and the value of like dung beetles and cockroaches, and it's like amazing. It really is. I was like totally. I mean, because I hate bugs. I mean, like no cap, I fucking hate bugs, right? Like I'm not about that life. So like I see one roach in the house ever, and I'm the house tinted. Like I can't. So I respected it. I respected the approach. It was a quick, easy, light read, incredibly well illustrated, super informative, and just fun stuff. And like the pages are laid out beautifully. It's packed, detailed pages with really creative panel layouts. It's just an overall a masterfully executed graphic novel about a subject that you probably wouldn't think on the surface would be that interesting. And I found it really, really engaging. So yeah, kudos to Peter Kuper on an absolutely unique comic experience. We're old and busted. We don't get unique comic experiences too often. And I got one in Insectopolis. So absolutely, if you're at all interested in, science-based comics, this is a no-brainer. It was fantastic.
I'm at 2 lines on Peter Kuper. It's amazing the number of people that he attracts. He should, judging by his style, he shouldn't attract the number of readers he does. But he manages. I don't know if it's just a smart way of selecting the stuff he doesn't write straight out. Like he did Kafka. He did the Metamorphosis. That's just smart because that is considered a classic, right? But if he wrote this as well as drew this, again, it stymies me because I love his work, but the fact that so many people also love his work really surprises me. He
Yeah, I mean,
shouldn't have. He is anti-mainstream as you can get.
for
I
sure.
think.
I
Yeah.
mean, I knew him mainly. I mean, at least for a long time, as the guy who took over Spy versus Spy. After Prohias, right? Like he's like, and I think we met Peter at a New York Comic Con.
We did.
I mean, yeah, a bunch of years ago, I guess at this point. But and talked to him, and he was basically selling his. I mean, it was basically a Spy versus Spy booth, understandably, because it was probably the thing that was going to be selling. But like, he had pages, and he had. No, I've to your point since read a few of his other works. I know Topsy Turvy. There was one I think about jazz. What was it called? Like something in the Theo in the Blue Note, right? Like that was called. I haven't read the Metamorphoses, but I know he did that. But yeah, man, like I said, I was totally I was knocked on my ass with this because I didn't know Peter Kuper must genuinely love insects, right? Like it must be an
You
interest
have
of his.
to,
Yeah,
right?
and so just super fun to see a guy that, like you said, we know his work. We've known him for a long time, and you feel like you know what they're into, and then it's like he gives you a straight ahead, incredibly well executed book about insects, and it's like, oh shit. So yeah, it's really a book worth celebrating.
I think there's a veracity that comes through. He's not faking it. He generally probably does have an interest in insects. If it's as compelling as you say it is,
Yeah,
then Cooper is one of those creators that doesn't lie to the reader.
yeah,
You could tell. Yeah, it's I find it baffling that he's as popular as he is.
hmm
Yeah, it's a good thing.
for sure.
It's a very good thing.
Yep.
Yeah. You want me to go?
Go for it.
This is like a list. Um, I don't have this on my list. I should, but I don't. It is number 23 of the Bubbles scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you weren't at the convention, the BubblesCon 2, from 9 to 5 on June 6th and 7th, 2025, which was a symposium of interviews and talks on comics and manga at the main branch of the Richmond Public Library, 101 East Franklin Street, Richmond, Virginia. And he gives the zip code. Brian Baynes takes all of the panelists and reproduces their contribution to the show verbatim. So you didn't really have to go, but it's free. And when you hear the guest list, it's amazing that it was free because he, thanks to a grant, he became solvent. But if he didn't get the grant, it would have cost him money. But Brian Mates doesn't care about the money. He's more about the programming and the sharing of ideas and the promotion of comics and manga and his friends and stuff like that. It's an old school convention that is about the comics. You won't find Lou Ferrigno at the show. Maybe he what
I'm out then. If Ferrigno's not there, I'm out.
maybe he would be an attendee, but he won't be a guest. It's crazy to me that Brian Baynes gets he's focusing on Richmond, and his guests include Sarah Booth, Say No More. Like that's reason enough for me to have gone. Unfortunately, this year was bad for me, so I couldn't go. But chair booth, John Vasquez Mijas, which does the Puerto Rican. There's a full page ad in here. The Puerto Rican War, a performance of costumes and puppets based on the woodcut novelette. So he did a graphic novel in woodcut, and at the show he did a puppet show based on the graphic novel. Like, where else are you going to see this? Where it just doesn't happen. Kevin Huizinga, Juliette Colette,
Love it.
Caitlin McGurk, of course, our buddy Ryan Holmberg was there, and the transcription of his talk will blow your head up. It will spin your head around. I finished it, and I was momentarily confused. Am I sitting in the same spot as I was when I first started this? There was so much information within his talk that it stymied me. It pushed me back a bit. That I thought, holy shit, like that would be reason enough to go. No, it's Ryan Holberg, number one. Number two, he don't he presents himself as a novice. Okay, humility's a good thing, but calling Ryan Holberg a novice is like laughable. But he considers himself, he considers himself a novice. Found a bunch of manga in his dead parents' basement, and is fleshing it out. More about the creation of Smudge, and he hints at it, but he doesn't really say what their plans for 2026 are. But for the most part, it's set in stone already. So after 2026, he is embarking on a plan to translate more horror manga, but among the stuff that you just don't see. You just don't see it on both sides of the water. You don't see it in Japan. You will not see it in the United States unless Ryan gets his hands on it. And I thought for $8, this scene, it just the Ryan Holberg part was worth it alone. The Tara Booth was worth it alone. Like, it's amazing to me that one could publish is seen so cheaply, but that's not it. That's not all of it. The guest, I hate to call him this, but his name is the biggest on the cover, so I'll go with the flow. Charles Burns,
My man.
Charles Burns talks about his process and what made him the artist he is today, and it's a lot of it is about the final cut and what he did for the different the, the different French edition, the Spanish edition, blah blah blah. Then he did a Saturday, June 7th, 7 p.m. Charles Burns presents I Was a Teenage Werewolf, starring Michael Landon, and I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, an 8mm film screening, an interview with Dash Shaw at the Institute for Contemporary Art at VCU. Like, stop. It's almost too much. It's almost it. Zachary's in there. There are sketchbook drawings of the presenters and the interviewers and the way they things that the person took away, right, from the interview. My Gorilla Family is a book, according to the sketchbook. My Gorilla Family is a book that sells itself.
Yeah.
We're that's so easy. Um, the drawing on Charles Burns makes me think it's that I have seen the it looks like Ted May's work. So if Ted May was there, wasn't here? But anyway, there is also, if that wasn't enough, there's also 50, count them 50 comics reviews in the back of the zine. City Hunter and Cat's Eye by Tsukasa Hojo, Nature Wears Hats by Ernie Bushmiller, which was published by Fanta. Manga Core by Gabber Eleganza. Smoke Signal 45 and 44. A bunch of CF books. Everglide by Carlos Gonzalez, whom I love. It just keeps going and going and going. Dummy number 2. King Cat number 84 by John Porcelino. Tom Sholey, Space Opera Xanadex, Across the Unknown Dimensions of the Galaxy is reviewed. R. Crumb's Tales of Paranoia. It's just, it's wonderful. It's wonderful and so welcome to get a zine that is produced like Bubbles. The photos are a bit too dark. That's my only bitch. I think the photos of the show are a bit too dark. The photos of assorted covers and pages and art, they're fine. But the ones taken at the show are way too dark. But that's my only complaint. Just order it. I got mine from the Copacetic Comics ding, and you should too. But it's available at Brian's Strangers Publishing, and the BubbleScon 3 is coming up May 30th, 2026, with Kendo Kondo, Bob Gorman, Ryan Holberg, of course, Carlos Gonzalez, which means if I can, I'll probably be there, Julia Groffner, and it's at the library again, and you should go. You make every attempt to be there because the con is, I'm assuming, as robust as the commentary, because the commentary is taken for the con, right? So it should be as robust, or if not more so, than the commentary. And there's coffee and donuts provided. Yeah, for free to the attendees.
Dash Shaw was at the first one.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me. I always read Bubbles. He's a far better writer than the person that publishes Strangers. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
He's not a perfect writer, Brian Baynes, but he's a capable. He can put words together fairly well. Yeah, I don't know what I do without Bubbles.
Yeah, Bubbles is like on the the best of medalist, like Bubbles definitely like had a lot of votes, like way out in front of any other zines for sure. So
Love it.
That's because it's good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
yeah, I
And
actually ordered a copy, dude. I didn't know if actually I didn't tell you guys. I wanted to read Garden of Spheres by Linnea Sterte, and I wasn't available on CGN or Amazon, so I'm like, all right. And so I looked around online, and I found like an LCS that had an online presence that had it. And then I was on there, and I'm like, just like, well, while I'm here, like you had to spend a certain amount for free shipping or whatever. So I'm looking and like and I added the Bubbles issue you're very much speaking about as I was like, oh, I'll get this Bubbles, to top it off so I can get the free shipping. So I did this like probably like a week before Christmas. So then over the holiday break between Christmas and New Year's, package comes. I'm like, oh, sick. Get the package, open it up. I open it up. I'm like, well, this doesn't look right. Like it was like a thin, like I'm like, I open it up. Dude, there's a copy of fucking Absolute Batman number 15 in there. I'm like, So I pull out the invoice. And the invoice says, Garden of Spheres and Bubbles, and I'm like, okay. So I like take pictures of the envelope and like send it to the store. And I'm like, I think you fucked up the order. Like, I think someone was expecting they're hot off the presses. I want to flip it on eBay copy of Absolute Batman number 15. And I wanted these 2 indie books, and I would very much be happy to send you back this Batman issue because I don't need it, so I can get my books. And like, they've ghosted me. They fucking said like they like emailed me right back like, oh yeah, we'll fix that. And then it's been like a week and a half, and they've not responded. So
that's not cool. Yeah, that's
cool.
not
cool. Yeah. So I think at some point I've paid for, so I'm assuming at some point I will receive a copy of this Bubbles zine, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, and it FYI, it's in total black and white. Mm-hmm. So, if you're expecting a 4-color comic, you're not going to get it. But it's weird seeing Tara's work in black and white because one of the noteworthy things about her, I think, is her color sense. But it's there. It's good enough. You came for the commentary, right? And you'll get it. Believe me, it'll take you a long time to read this issue. So Bubbles 23, Bubbles Con 2, Brian Baynes. It's masterful.
Nice.
It does my heart good to know that the zine is still alive in 2026.
Oh, for sure. It's funny you bring up Ryan Holberg because Dap and I a couple weeks ago, I think you could make that episode. We after we were talking about how we want to refresh the list of creators we'd like to have on to have chats with, and Holmberg's on there. And remember, I reached out to him last year, and he was totally cool with coming on and chatting with us, but he was heading to Japan and wanted to hit him back. So it would be great. I mean, no, I don't think anyone has ever had him on, and I mean, he has translated so many amazing books that we have loved over the years. So
it's just like press play and let him go.
Dude is. I mean, I'd be again. I mean, we'll save it for the show, I guess, if he ever comes on. But I'm curious if like what kind of role he has in what he translates. Right? Like, is he brought in by the publishers because they want to bring this over and they know he's the best at translating, or is like he advocating? Like with the Sugo stuff, like is he advocating to bring it over? Right? Like I don't know the answer to that.
A lot. I'll let you read it in the book. Okay. But yeah. A lot of the stuff, it's both.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I've always said one of my failures in life was not learning Japanese. I would love to speak Japanese, but
yeah, I can handle it, but Mia can speak it and read it.
Yeah.
So
I think I discussed this like at college. We had to have a language proficiency, like that was part of the curriculum. So when I was registering classes for my freshman year, I registered to make Japanese my my language, and but then like when I looked at it was time to finalize things, I looked and it was 2x the classes for Japanese. Obviously, it's a much more difficult language for English than like one of the Romance languages, and I had already taken 6 years of Spanish at that point, so I chickened out and swapped from Japanese to Spanish because I knew I could just do it like in my my sleep.
I don't blame you.
No, I know, but like that was such a lazy way out. Like in retrospect, I would be at 51. I would be so much more happy with myself if I could speak Japanese and the fact that I can speak Spanish, but
Right.
no disrespect to the Latino folks out there. I'm just saying, like, it's just not as distinctive a thing. I
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have to learn essentially two sets of characters, the katakana and the kanji. And no offense, at your age, it ain't happening.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there are things that at our age, like you can teach new dogs, you can teach old dogs new tricks, but like there are things that like that or two of my sons are rapidly good at the guitar. I've always like speaking a new foreign language, like playing piano, playing like learning the guitar, like all those things are things I'd love to do, always wanted to do, but like at this point, I've pretty much just given up that that's going to ever happen. Like, I'm kind of resigned to the fact that, like,
I know about the guitar.
that's what Jackson said. Jackson said the guitar is probably like, again, you're not going to be like, you're not going to be like, fucking, you're not going to be, you're going to be a maestro, but you could learn it to have fun. But that's the one I think is still doable to your point.
Yeah.
Because there's not as much complexity to being like functional at it. But yeah. Anyway,
you're not going to be a Zappa, but you'll,
yeah,
you'll have fun. Yeah.
Dap, what's been getting your panties wet? Come on.
Damn, wet.
Yeah, what's been getting you moist? Come on.
Well, I did. There were a couple things I was tried this week, but
happy birthday, Vander! By the way, while you're thinking.
Oh yes.
It's our boy. It's our boy Vander's 50th birthday today. So shout out to the Big 5-0.
Yeah, look at that. He does not look 50.
No, he does not.
He does not. He just Mr. Showoff posted a video today to us this morning when we wished him happy birthday of him doing CrossFit this morning with his two daughters. I was like, you fucking show off,
right?
Like whatever. Anywho, back to what you were loving.
I before tonight, I read the third volume, collecting issues 11 through 15 of Lemire and Walta's Phantom Road. This collection, this collection we get it's kind of focused on the horror men. So we get Teresa's dad's origin, more or less. Because her dad was also an FBI agent, and he ended up working with Harold. It was the bulk of this collection of the third volume takes place in 1997, and we the parents, Teresa's mom and dad, they tell the kids, her and her brother, that dad sells insurance, and because they figure, since agent is in basically his job title, it's just, if it ever slips out, then at least they can say, hey, dad just sells insurance. But he is he has the FBI headquarters in Washington, and he's introduced to Agent Harold, who of course is the pockmarked looking dude from the beginning of the series that Teresa meets early on. And so we find out that Weaver and Harold work together, maybe briefly, but it also plays a part. Harold kind of explains the ley lines and the Billy Bear franchise and the other side, and how there's something out there that he hasn't seen, he can't quite explain, but he knows it exists. And Ham Jr., who expanded Dad's Billy Bear franchise, or expanded it from one truck stop restaurant from Texas and went up along the northern part of the country. Harold knows Ham there's something up with him, and he can't. He's not quite untouchable, but Harold can't reach out to him. Apparently, Ham has friends at the bureau, so he's never really available for comment. But we unfortunately, Teresa's dad, Weaver, he does come in contact with the egg, if you want to call it that, but that artifact that was so mystifying again from the beginning of the series. And there's a little bit, Harold, we get more of Harold. He opens up a bit when talking to Teresa's dad, when talking to Weaver, and he so he's not he's more I don't want to say relatable, but he's more human in this chapter compared to previous chapters from the first two volumes, because he does keep things close to the vest. He's really not exactly forthcoming with Teresa, and she wants answers. And there is something that when Harold is explaining to Weaver that they're on the hunt for this guy Hanover. Hanover hasn't been seen in ages, and Harold knows that Hanover has information, and so they're on the trail to find Hanover, and they do find him. And Hanover's scared shitless, and he's holding on to the egg, and he can't let it go, and he's trying to stay away from Ham because he knows Ham is after him, and all Hugo Ham Jr. wants is this egg, and he's after Hanover as well. It looks like our heroes might actually have something, have the advantage. They might be able to have some answers, even though when they're inside, Billy Bear and Weaver looks out the window, he does see the other side, and that's something that Harold hadn't seen. He just knows that there's something strange, there's something out there, but he hasn't seen the actual change from the regular world to the other side. So he actually does confront it at some point, along with Hugo Ham Jr. And Ham has like some special dark ops, special forces looking dudes with him, and they're all wearing the gaiters and their full military garb, and it's almost like he's a protected person. But when Hanover is killed, and Ham is standing with his soldiers, is standing in front of Harold and Weaver, and Hanover had dropped the egg, and Teresa's dad lunges for it, even though Hugo is telling them, stay back, it's not yours, don't touch it. And he's telling his soldiers, kill them both, but don't touch, don't shoot at the egg. So when Weaver touches it, he disappears. So he's on the other side, and he goes inside the Billy Bear, and he sees Weaver. He sees Harold and the soldiers on the other side of the window. So he runs outside to save him, but of course now he's back out on the other side and everybody's gone. So he runs back in. But before he runs back in, he realizes there's a distance. He's a distance from the egg, and he starts to feel that pain in his gut that everybody else we've seen experience when they're not, after they touch it and try to walk away from it. And
so it's like a play on like drug addiction type of, like a
for
metaphor that, right?
I don't, possibly, but we find out. I mean, it's. I'm not going to spoil everything that happens in this volume, because we find things out that I didn't expect to find out when the series started. But eventually, Weaver does come back to the real world, and when that happens, Ham calls Harold and says, we have a proposition for you. If Weaver gives us what we want, we'll give Weaver back his daughter, Teresa. So Ham went, kidnapped this little girl, and is going to barter for the egg that he wants. And I'm not going to say things go according to plan, but as this volume nears the end, we do get to the present day, where the previous volume ended with Teresa facing Hugo Ham, and he's telling her a story that is similar to the events that happened here, with some minor modifications. And she does remember being kidnapped, even though she kind of blacked it out. And the way it went down is different than the way Ham is explaining it to her, because he's trying to win her over. And I'm worried about now where the fourth volume is going to take us. But yeah, this was I like reading this particular series in chunks. I like we get 5 issues in a trade, and I can move, because it's easy enough to remember things that happened in the previous 10 issues, but this is the kind of book I'd probably be losing my mind if I read this as it was coming out, and then I had to wait, because that's the month the trade comes out, and then go back. But this, reading in a chunk like this, I'm able to retain a hell of a lot more information. But it's the type of story that you need. It you can use that little bit of a breather when the collection's done. But as far as reading these consecutive chapters, I like that I can, because this, the entire, like, basically the chapters of this volume are like, the Horror Men parts, like 1 through 4 or 5. So it is just this. This collection is just about, they kind of call the Bureau mocks Harold a bit, because he's not quite X-Filesy, but the shit he thinks of and he investigates, the rest of the guys in the department are kind of calling him the Horror Man. So now we're the Horror Men, he tells Weaver, as they're in this together now. So yeah, this was a solid collection. I'm absolutely a fan of this series, and I think reading the trade is definitely the way to go here. But yeah, I would, not that it was ever really straightforward, and you kind of knew where Lemire might be taking us, because this is such a wild ride. But where we started and where we end at the 15th issue, I was not expecting us to take these twists and turns. So props to Jeff, props to Gabriel for and Jordy's colors, of course. But yeah, this has been great, and this volume wasn't really what I was expecting, and I'm glad for that. We got a little bit of a break from what was going on in the present day, and we get some backstory. So that was nice to see. But yeah, this was an absolute this was a great read.
Well, I'm glad to hear your enthusiasm for it, because obviously I need very little push to read a Lemire thing, and I have to say that, like, the first arc of this didn't really connect with me, probably like less than anything Lemire's ever done. So I haven't read the rest, but your point specifically that where it starts isn't where it ends, it has me thinking that I need to jump back in, because again, it's very rare for me not to love Jeff's work, no matter what the genre is, and then this one kind of took me by surprise, and that I really didn't feel like connected to it. So I'll have to.
I think that it was the perfect spot for the storyline.
Yes.
Yeah. I still don't believe a damn thing Teresa's mouth, because she's a liar. She's a liar. She lied about the car crash, and what else is she lying about? Whatever. It's not going to stop me from reading it, but as a character, I don't think she's the most reliable in the believability category.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe, perhaps the kidnapping might play a part in that.
Yeah, you never know.
You
I
never
could
know.
be totally off base, but for right now, I don't believe anything she brings to the table.
That's fair. I can't really
Yeah.
argue that.
Yeah, you can't argue it because it's true. But the first time we meet her, she's lying,
Yeah.
and then like, what else is she lying about?
Mm-hmm.
If she did to save her skin, I understand, and it did to a point, but then there's too many things that she says that a person wouldn't give up information like that willingly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great series. I think it's one of Lemire's best.
Wow, it's so interesting. I'm really fascinated by the fact that you guys both connected with it so much.
Yeah, I think he's on the bender because his JSA is phenomenal as well.
This is
I gotta
really
get back to
fascinating to me
that.
because I got to say, like, it's me, because, like, obviously, I've marked hard for Lemire, I mean, forever, and yet I feel like most of the things this year just didn't really connect with me.
I don't know how
like
to.
JSA, Absolute Flash, Phantom Road. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's different strokes, right?
Yeah.
I think you're more of the cerebral type of Lemire fan. I am as well, but I appreciate his JSA. I think Absolute Flash is great, and I think Phantom Road is wonderful as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess for like his superhero stuff, it's just hard for me to not view it in the lens of Black Hammer, where he gets to tell the same stories unencumbered by any kind of continuity rules. But,
Yeah, but that's just a JLA retelling. It's
of course.
it's
Well,
wonderful.
not just JLA. Each of the series is a different homage to different DC properties. But
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Black Hammer, but I don't think it's strike me down for being a heathen, but I don't think it's up there with the stuff that he's known for, which he's known, right? I think Black Hammer is a clever little Dutch wink wink dalliance, but I would sacrifice it in a second for his other stuff.
It's interesting. I don't know that he would agree with you, but I understand what you're saying. Like, obviously, it's not.
It's good. Yeah,
I think
I'm
he
not
views
gonna,
it as his best work. But I get you. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's not good.
Yeah. No, it's a specific, like, we all have people that we like. We all have works that we like more or less or whatever. But, like, I find this conversation in particular fascinating just because I feel like I'm an absolute mark for Lemire, right? Like, I have a whole Lemire shelf, right? Like, in my and so I've never felt less connected with his work, but at the same time, he came out with his autobio, book this past year with 10,000 ink stains, which I loved, right? Which is all about his journey, and it was hard for me not to, like, really connect with that because, not that he would ever include us in his narrative, but, like, as I was reading that book, I thought, oh shit, like, we were here for the journey, man. Like, we knew him when he was nobody, right? And then we knew him after Essex County, and then we knew him after, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was, like, reading along with that thinking, fuck, like, I know this man, like, I was here for every part of this man's journey. Like, I can feel exactly, like, and we even know when we've had him on over the years, like, his demeanor, his comfort, his perspective, his tone, his, like, vibe was different at each of those phases of his life, right? Like, depending on where he was in his career. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I try not to insert myself into the narrative, so.
Well, you're a better man. You're a better man. I mean, as you know, we're all the star of our own stars.
This is
story.
true. When
I mean, at least that's my story. I mean, you guys are.
Well, I've been rearranging
supporting
shit.
actors.
I found my copy of The Nobody, which I'd completely forgotten about. I love that book. I remember reading it when it came out.
Yeah.
And it's a great little hardcover.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, holy shit. Yeah,
He was hungry then.
Oh yeah.
Not that he's not now, but he's hungry for a different reason now.
Yes. Yeah.
Then he was very much trying to swing for the fences in order to get a good comic book deal.
Yeah.
Now you can have one in a
each
second.
of these creators have these arcs, right? Like and what I'm about to say, I do not want anyone to take as like saying that the following people are no longer like awesome, right? But I'm saying like I feel like there are moments in comicdom when certain creators like are on a heater, right? Like a few years ago, like Tynan was the guy, right? Like I'm not saying he's not still the guy, but I'm saying like there was that all of a sudden it was like you couldn't escape him, right? Like you couldn't be a comic fan and not like he was just doing, coming off Batman, doing his own, the Tiny Onion stuff, doing Nice House, doing, fucking like doing something similar, like, and you were like, damn, this tiny guy, like he's all over the place,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But I'm saying like he like, and then you have like, and then obviously Tom King had his run, you had Snyder had his moment, like you just have these guys that kind of like rise into the captain's chair, and yeah, and like I think right now, like as we were saying on the Slack, like this was like Dennis Camp is in that moment right now. Like dude is on a fucking heater. Like Assorted Crisis Events, Absolute Martian Manhunter, The Ultimates. Like dude is doing different comics at different companies that are totally different genres and styles, and he's crushing them all. And they're being like beloved and well read and sell a ton. You know what I mean? Like it's just dude's on a heater, and I think from this point forward, Dennis Camp's going to be someone that has a massive fan base that will stick with him no matter what he does, because he's had that moment now where it's like, oh fuck, dude, you're doing all these different things all at once and you're killing them, So I love that. I love that these guys have these come up moments, these glow up moments, and then it kind of like, I think, and again, it's not like they fall off, but it's like then they just kind of like settle in and just keep doing their stuff.
I think this ties into what you said last time about Kyle Starks. Like, why is Kyle Starks not a household comic name?
Because he hasn't had that he's done work. I would liken it to like the difference between like Christopher Nolan and Wes Anderson. Like
yeah, you're right.
Like Christopher Nolan's an incredible, impeccable filmmaker. All of the success he's had is well deserved. I think he's like one of the great directors of my life. He's also figured out a way to make commercial hits, right? Like big movies. Whereas Wes Anderson, also, I put in the same category. Every Wes Anderson movie is a must immediate see for me. Me and my sons we adore his work. I've never seen a Wes Anderson movie I didn't like, but he's not a commercial, like he's not a household name.
No.
He's not, what I mean? Yeah. So I kind of think it's like that. Like Starks, I think we would all agree Starks from a quality perspective in terms of the comics he's made is as good as anybody. Like but to your point, he hasn't reached that. How we're defining this echelon, because he hasn't quite had that like breakout or multiple breakout hits where like they're not only really good comics that the people that read them love them, but a fucking shit ton of people are reading them, right? Like that's where he hasn't quite hit yet. But I assume he's not like, I got to assume he's eating, right? And I got to assume he's doing just fine.
He is, but he's also working.
Right. No, that's what I mean. Like he hasn't had that book where you're like, where it's a household name, right? Where he's like,
I agree.
So, and also like Starks, I mean, again, I don't think I've ever read a Starks comic I didn't adore, but it's like when I used to praise Jason Aaron, the thing that did it for me with Aaron was that he was able to do so many different genres. I don't know that Kyle's really showed us much in terms of different genres. Like he does funny comics really well, like, and they're great. Again, I'm not trying to in any way minimize his career. I love his work, but like, he's kind of like got a thing he does well, right? Like, and he hasn't necessarily tried to stretch his chops and give us something that we're like not expecting of him, and I don't know that he ever needs to. I mean, again, like it seems like his career's going just fine.
Weird, and he brings a weird, and I think for a lot of the readers, us not included, that is a turnoff because it gets a little strange,
Sure.
And the average reader, meaning the Marvel DC people, uh, that's kind of a turnoff. You
Hmm.
know, yeah.
Could be.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the fact that you're entrenched at Dark Horse and Image says a lot about
Yeah, for sure.
what you're doing.
Yeah,
You
agreed.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Book number two that knocked me on my ass, and this is a book actually messaged our North Carolina Booze and Vander and Dap and said, "Y'all motherfuckers need to buy this book if you don't already have it." Because it's like a perfect nostalgia bomb for people our age, and that is Lucas Wars. And what's awesome about this is a graphic novel about George Lucas's rise into prominence all the way through the making of Star Wars: A New Hope and its success. Um, but it's a bande dessinée. It was written by Laurent Hopman and beautifully illustrated by Renaud Roche in France a few years ago, or at least a year ago. I think maybe it came out like a year and a half ago. And then was brought over here and translated by Jeremy Melul for 23rd Street, which again is like, I mean, 23rd Street is, talk about a company that made its mark on me this year. I mean, they have really, they're doing great work. Um, but this is exactly what it sounds like. It is fucking an incredible, wildly interesting journey through George Lucas's life up through the smash success of New Hope. And um, I think it's hard to be someone born in the 1970s like we were. Well, Vince, you weren't, but it's hard to be someone who lived life in the
5
early 70s.
years. Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's hard to be someone who was a part of the cultural zeitgeist in the 70s and not have an incredible affinity for the original Star Wars trilogy, which then leads to us having an incredible affinity for George Lucas. I thought I knew a lot about Lucas. I really did. But I have to tell you, reading this book, I was blown away at the stuff about him that I just didn't know. And I'm not gonna get into those details because really the magic of this book is like experiencing that for yourself. And I thought it was just like when you're doing a book about a person, a biographical comic, um, you have to do it in a certain way, right? Like you have to make it interesting, and you have to like otherwise just write a novel, or not a novel, just write a prose book, a biography about the guy, right? Like if you're going to do a comic, it better be, you better leverage the fact that it's a comic, and they fucking do, man. Like this is a new creative team to me because I was unfamiliar with them, but they do an amazing job. I would say Roche's work from his line work, his style looks to me a lot like Nate Powell, which is an immense compliment. I think Nate is an incredible cartoonist. But like, again, vibrant, emotive. There's like an energy and an emotion to the panels, even though it's just real human beings talking about like real life events. Um, and they have a lot of fun with it, playing with these iconic moments of Star Wars that we know so well. And there's other fascinating characters in it, including of course all of the actors that were in the movie, but also Francis Ford Coppola, who, as many listeners probably already know, is one of Lucas's best friends. Steven Spielberg, another one of his best friends, and like again, it starts when they're all in film school, coming up like completely novice with no credits to their name, and how they all in their own way found their path to become the greatest filmmakers of their generation, even though they all were just different dudes that hung out together. Like just fascinating stuff, man. And there were so many things about the making of Star Wars that I had no idea about, like ranging from like personalities of the actors to the fact that like it was basically like unfinanced for almost 2 years as they were making it. Like basically, it took the efforts of the then president of the studio to essentially say it's like basically put his job up for like he was saying, you can fire me if this isn't a hit, because the board had just no interest in this like crazy sci-fi movie that had all these fucking weird characters and names and mythos that no one could follow, and this like new religion and the Force, and like the suits just did not get it, and like the initial screenings were terrible, and they just were sure it was going to be a huge flop. And then, you know, like, to me, the ultimate message of this book is like, it's a reminder of like, dude, like, to whatever extent you're able, you should never stop pursuing your passions, because like so many of the greatest things we've ever experienced, almost everybody else other than the person that made it happen thought it was a fucking dumb idea. Right. And like, but like, they just couldn't help but see it through. And then the rest is history. You know, like, nobody believed that Star Wars was going to be a hit other than George Lucas and his wife. Like, nobody. Even the actors in the movie didn't think it was going to be a hit. You like they just thought it was fucking a disaster. Like, the making of it, the fucking, like, they thought it was an absolute nonsensical disaster. And then, like, fast forward, right? And like, Star Wars is the fucking, you know what, $20 billion, you know, like, enterprise, right? That's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just fascinating. And it was done so well. And it really makes you love Lucas as a human being, and like really appreciate the quirks of all the people that were around him in these formative years. I just, absolute delightful book. As you guys know, I read a lot of like autobio and bio comics, and they can be kind of dry, and they can also be kind of self-referential, right? You know, like, oh, my life is this and it's so important. And these guys, like, even though this is a guy and a person who we do care about, like, they just treat it with absolute, like there's no ego involved. Like they make George out look like he looks like a fool at times, and his insecurities are there, and like they make him basically, in a lot of ways, he got lucky. Like, he kind of bumbled his way through a lot of this. Like, he really didn't have a plan. He was a terrible writer.
I think you're being kind.
The worst director.
No, but I'm saying, but like, my point is, like, like despite the fact that like he wasn't formally educated, despite the fact that he's a terrible writer, despite the fact he had a learning disability that made him basically, I mean, they don't say he's dyslexic, but they say he's really not, he's like pretty much like incapable, like, he's not a structured writer, you know, like, despite of all these things, and despite of like being told no a million times, like, we got Star Wars out of it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I obviously, I don't approach Lucas with the same degree of reverence as yourself.
Okay, well, that's because you're an old and busted, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think he made a few brilliant decisions. The first of all was handing off The Empire Strikes Back to someone else.
Yes.
But that someone else was his college professor.
Right. I thought that was
like they get
smart.
into that too, like, which is pretty cool. Like, they get into that too, like, you know, like,
It was
and
smart.
they show Lucas saying, like, I don't like Lucas wanted to hire a writer. He's like, I'm not a writer. I can't write a script. Like, I can't writ a screenplay. And like, the studio was like, fucking, you have to. Like, we don't have any money for you to, like, we're not giving you money to, like, you write it. It's your idea.
Right. Exactly. It was a good decision to do Empire Strikes Back with someone else. It was a incredibly bad decision to do Return of the Jedi himself.
Well, to be fair, this book does not get into that. This book literally starts at his childhood and ends and ends with him and his agent sitting in the I guess it's whatever the studio at the time was, in the boardroom after negotiating Empire. Like, it's that's literally the end. The end scene is them negotiating Empire. Yeah.
I think Return of the Jedi sucks. It's the one I do not watch at all.
This is crazy talk. I go directly into this. I'm praising this comic book, and now you're talking about it.
No, yeah. I will watch it because it's part of the trilogy. So Jedi somehow sneaks under the door, but the prequels and the sequels are garbage.
Anyway, putting all that aside, but none of that is germane to this. Like, the book only focuses on the magic that is A New Hope, which again is one of the cultural touchstones of the last 100 years. Right. And that's all this
what
book
I'm
is
saying
about.
Is I never would make it to jump. I wouldn't have read this without you reading it first.
There's fun stuff, and some things I guess other people knew. Maybe I knew at one time. Like, I don't know if you, and maybe you guys knew this, but like Alec Guinness, right? You know, for the young listeners out there, the gentleman who played Obi-Wan Kenobi. But Sir Alec Guinness was far and away the most accomplished actor involved in this. Like not, like by like leaps and bounds. Like it was like he was like the shocking, like, wait, Alec Guinness is in this? And as the story goes, Alec Guinness took almost no pay and said, just give me a piece of the profits. But he asked for 2.5% of the gross of the movie. Now, again, not to be a business nerd, but gross is like lots of actors get points, meaning like they get a percentage, but they get net points, meaning like they get a percentage of the net profit of a movie, which generally isn't worth all that much because movie accounting is such that a lot of movies, even the ones that you smash hits, the studios throw so many costs in there, it's like they don't have a net profit. But Guinness was like, just give me 2.5% of the gross, meaning when you hear like, oh, a movie did $1 billion, he would get 2.5% of that. So Alec Guinness negotiated that, thinking he was going to get nothing from it, and he's gone, he's dead now. But before he died, Guinness made, and this is just on A New Hope, this isn't on like Star Wars en masse, he made $95 million on A New Hope, and since he's died, his estate, which still owns the rights, has made another $55 million. He has made $150 million off of his deal to be in The New Hope. Like that is so fascinating to me.
That's some good, and he's in the movie for what, like maybe 20 minutes.
Well, that's the book gets into that too, because during the making, because it took a long time. The movie, at one point they decide, Lucas decides to kill him off, and he sits, Alec Guinness down and says, "We're going to kill you off," and like Guinness being this really gentlemanly, like old school British gentleman is like, oh, I understand that, thanks for letting me know. But like he hated it and then wanted to leave the movie. Like he was polite to Lucas in the moment, but like he wanted to fucking walk out of the movie. And like basically Lucas had to like convince him, go to his home and convince him of why it was going to be a good deal. And like, so finally Guinness was like, okay, we'll do it. And, Guinness, I guess before he died, joked that it was like the best decision he ever made to like say okay to that conversation because obviously like it made him, all this money. And like flip side, Carrie Fisher, who was only 18 and a freshman in college when she got cast for this role, inadvertently signed away her rights. She had no rights to any of her name and likeness for any of this. So she never got a dime for fucking all the Princess Leia dolls and costumes, and like she never got a fucking penny until. Well, this is what I'm saying, and this is where you got to say like, no matter what you think of the prequels or the new stuff, I'm much less anti them than you are. But when they brought all the original cast back for the new movies, that was Lucas's way of making good on them, and he paid Carrie a fucking fortune to do those films, like in an intent to make good on the fact that like she lost out all those years ago. So like,
yeah, because she's say what you will about her performance. I thought her performance was excellent. The bun, it has become an iconic.
Oh yeah. You just see the silhouette. Yeah, you don't even need her face.
The bun. They address the bun like actually specifically of where they got the idea from, and this is the stupidest looking thing I've ever seen, but like it obviously becomes iconic. They address like the C-3PO and R2 actors and how they fucking hated each other. Like, did
they really?
Oh yeah. They address the Carrie Fisher Harrison Ford affair. They address really everything. It's great. They go in deep into Lucas's marriage and like how it's really strong during the filming, but then it kind of falls apart because he's a workaholic, and like just super fascinating, man. Like it was gripping, and a lot of times biographical comics can be interesting and informative, but not necessarily gripping. And maybe it's because it's about someone and something that I care a lot about, no doubt. But like my point is, if you have any, and again, I presume if I gave this book to my sons, they'd be like, it was okay, because like they don't. To your point, they don't care about the original Star Wars movies anywhere near like we do. But if you are of a certain age, like, mid to late 40s through mid to late 50s, I presume you will absolutely devour this book and love every bit of it. And again, even though it's, needless to say, driven by the story of Lucas's real life, the visuals that Roche does are impeccable and fascinating and make this worthy of being a comic instead of just a biography where they decide to put some pictures of people talking. So can't be more ebullient in my. And I read a fucking lot of biographical comics this year. Like I read like 20 different bio comics, I'd say, graphic novels, and this is far and away the best one. So Lucas Wars, Laurent, Hopman, Renaud, Roche.
I'll read it. I do have somewhat an affinity for Lucas. Just because I think lightning struck.
Also, like
the
his
first.
his chutzpah, like he fucking created ILM like on a whim, dude. Like
I know.
he had no fucking expertise. He wasn't like some like engineer that knew. Like he was just like, oh, we can make these props ourselves. Like why can't we do it? Like it's just like it's like I have such envy for people like that. Like I've just never been entrepreneurial in that way, right? Like I've never been like, oh, I can just, you know what I mean? Like I just not my how a lot of people like I'm just not wired that way. Like and so when I read these stories of these people that just have this unbridled confidence in their vision on life and are so close to absolute epic failure and bankruptcy and like financial collapse so many times in their life, and they just don't ever let it derail them, and then they end up becoming like these iconic success stories. It absolutely fascinates me. It really does.
Yeah, you have me convinced.
Yeah.
Dab's over here like, well, when they make one about fucking Roddenberry, I'll read it.
Oh, please. I've got plenty of Roddenberry books already. But yeah. Well, I mean, not graphic novels, but yeah, actual.
Now there's a guy, again, they all steal. They all do.
He was not
yeah.
racist, right?
Yeah. Somewhat. Yeah.
I'm saying that's the mark on him, right? Like he's sort of low key like canceled these days because he's racist.
Maybe I
think he's
maybe
not.
Maybe
He's reputed to be racist, right? Okay.
Yeah. It's sort of. Those were people, again, it's like the disclaimer in the older comics and pulp novels that you read. That's the way that it was back then. That's the way they were raised. They were brought up that way, and they didn't really think twice about whether they were right or not.
I mean, not to derail this because this isn't a discussion about Star Trek or Gene Roddenberry, but I always thought it was, and I admittedly haven't looked into it to have a strong opinion, but I always thought it was weird that like he gets marked as being unwoke when I'm like, wasn't Star Trek like the most woke show ever? Like at its first time,
Pretty much.
Like fucking like a world where everybody of race, creed, and color,
utopia.
including species, were all equal, and a black woman was fucking a senior leader on a fucking like now granted she was dressed like a fucking cocktail waitress. I understand that, but that was of the time. But yeah, it's funny, right? And an Asian guy, like it just seemed like it was a very super progressive idea given its time. But yeah, I guess you can create art that is not necessarily evocative of your own personal beliefs. I guess that's fair to say.
Right.
He Roddenberry, he loved women, and even Nichelle wrote about it in her autobiography. Before his work on Star Trek began, but before his work on Star Trek, actually, he had relationships with Nichelle Nichols and Majel Barrett, who of course would become his wife, and even from until he died, he had he maintained extramarital relationships, one with his executive assistant. So I don't know about the racism. I know that he was a cop. He
was a cop? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because because one of his he was there was he was in the traffic division, I believe. But yeah, he's so a lot of his experience, his life experience, things like that, he applied into the stories he was writing. He wrote for a bunch of shows before Screen Gems, and even Lucille Ball picked up Star Trek and things like that. So I know that I think he may have even been the one who I believe it was a studio executive who was aghast that for Next Generation you would actually have a bald man be the captain, and it may have been Roddenberry or may have been it may have been Pillar, one of the other guys, but I believe somebody said it's the fucking future. Like we're past that. It's just it's stupid to think certain things and at a certain era in life and especially in the future. But there was that. I know there's one story that I remember. Harlan Ellison, who of course I think like he's synonymous with a curmudgeon, but Ellison has a way about him, as talented as and creative as he may be. But I know that there was one story where, and I don't know if this was before or after City on the Edge of Forever, because what the story that Ellison wrote, the story that Harlan wrote, is way different than the episode we all see, and
right.
And there was a dinner, and I don't know who was at. I don't know everybody who was at dinner, but obviously Gene was there, his wife was there, Harlan was there, and I guess the conversation got heated, and Harlan took a dig at Gene, and basically paraphrasing, but he was insulting to Gene, and the long and short of it is if you'd ever get your head out of your wife's tits, you'd be able to see just either it went off on that, but yeah, he had his issues with Gene, and but that could just be creative differences. Again, I don't know too many people who could say that they never had an argument with Harlan. So
sure,
it was confrontational.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah,
but I mean, I as much as I owe a lot of my childhood to Lucas, and I absolutely owe a lot to him, and I appreciate what he gave us. It's yeah, I would put Roddenberry on that same pedestal just because of it. Whereas they're two sides of the same coin, basically. But I just I know that I would be curious to see if Corey Shadme ever wanted to do a Roddenberry graphic novel, but yeah, I've got so many books by the actors, about Roddenberry, about behind the scenes, and from other writers who worked on it. So I mean, one of these, maybe that's my retirement plan, is I'm just going to finally sit down and catalog all this crap. But yeah, I know that there are people who are appreciative of Roddenberry because of the work he gave them, because you did have a show that was extremely diverse. And I mean, not just the original series, obviously, but as time went on, people took that vision and ran with it. But yeah, I would have to do some deeper diving if to find out just maybe how controversial or disliked.
Yeah. Again, we went off on a tangent. I wasn't really like, it wasn't really but nevertheless, yeah. But fucking kick-ass Lucas book, man. Kick-ass.
Nice.
My copy's on my way. Copy's on the way.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go that far. But
I had to order it. I had to order because if I had to hear him again, it's been all week. Yeah. It's been all week, brother. Like, you don't know.
Bro, relax, dude, okay? You got your shots in today. Relax. Vince, he fucking... You know what Dap did today?
Oh, my God. What did Dap do?
Dap fucking acted like The Departed was a bad movie.
Oh, that was no act.
He dared to suggest, like, that. I mean, listen, we've all been friends for 20 years now. I mean, I'm used to the fact that you all have some bad takes from time to time. This may be the single worst take he's ever had. Like, this may be worse. Like, I can't. Like, when you said that, I nearly had an aneurysm because I thought,
stop it.
There's a time in our friendship where you told me that you liked Paul Blart Mall Cop. Like, I can't.
It's perfect.
Mall Cop, and you don't like The Departed. Like, it's like saying I fucking like I love like fucking Arby's, but I don't want to eat the fucking French Laundry. Like I can't process it. I can't process it. But
We gotta do the number one thing we gotta do is we gotta get the Netflix out of your hands. Cassie,
Netflix?
The Netflix, yeah. Cassie,
wait,
because
what does Netflix have to do with it?
You watch a lot of silly movies.
Silly movies? What are you talking about?
On the Netflix.
You realize that you and I are on the same side here about The Departed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's I don't think it's perfect.
Thank you.
But
No,
what is?
It's like his 8th best movie, but that's still like one of the greatest movies of that era.
It's
you want to
a
call it
good
great?
movie.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand the appeal. Yes, it was. I'm not in love with it. I saw it. I'm good. I don't need to see it again. But it's one of those things where like,
that's a much softer position than you took earlier.
What I say? Yeah, I can barely sit through it.
Yeah,
you implied it was just a bad movie.
We're of two minds. The greatest movies of all time, I don't even factor on your list.
What are you even talking about?
You and I, we agree until we don't.
Yeah.
But what list are you speaking of? I haven't put out my favorite time list. Like, what are you talking about?
You said it's a great movie. It is a great movie.
It is a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Departed. But where does it fall on the list?
Oh, of Scorsese movies? I said it's like the 8th or 9th best movie.
Yeah, of all time though. Where does it fall?
It would, no, I mean, it would. I don't know. Like, it would be like in the hundreds. I don't know.
Yeah, but your 1 to 10 is far different than my 1 to 10.
But that's the nature of. That's the beauty of top all-time lists. The reason all-time lists exist is for people to disagree with them. Like, no person is going to look at an all-time list and be like, "Yep, they got it."
Yeah,
because you're splitting the
totally
tiniest of hairs there.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over this really quickly because I doubt that Depp has finished it. It is written and illustrated by Richard Corben. It is part of the Richard Corben Library at Dark Horse. Beth Corben Reed and Richard Corben did the colors. Nate Picos of Blambot did the lettering. And some of the art restoration and the art director was Jose Villarrubia. I am, of course, talking about Wrath God. One of my favorite things, whether you know it or not, is an unreliable narrator. I love it when you cannot take the words of the narrator verboten as gospel. I adore it because it undermines the entirety of the proceedings. Is the story real? Is it fake? Did it happen this way? Is the person lying? So many questions, zero answers, and I love that. But the reason I'm saying this is I don't believe Clark, who is named after Clark Ashton Smith, who promulgated the H.P. Lovecraft mythos. I don't believe Clark can be believed, to use the word twice in a sentence. He keeps referring to his girlfriend as white. She's not white. And I think he's a bit racist, as was H.P. Lovecraft, was more than a bit racist. I believe that Clark is put in the position of narrator as a feint. I believe that he is racist. He professes not to be, but I believe he is. and I do not believe the story progressed the way it does on the comic book page. I've said a number of times I do not believe this is one of Corben's best works, and I'm confident in the fact that Red God is good, but it's not great. I guess that's all I have to say about it until that proves it. That the narrator is a liar. That's true. I believe that Clark embellishes certain things. So I will get to the book I want to talk about. You never, to paraphrase, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Facts.
Yeah, and nothing fits the bill more strongly than Richard Sala.
My man. Yep.
Because I've bought, consumed, read, devoured every Richard Sala book, and I love them all. I think they're all great. There's not one that is I walk away from reading it thinking, ugh, that was a stinker. They're all of a certain quality, and In a Glass Grotesquely is another one of those. I think it's a great little book. Selected picture stories by Richard Sala, but by Fenner Graphics for $20. The lion's share of the book is a story called The Super Enigmatics, with a hyphen. And it features Sal's trademark clean line, his beautiful watercolor work. It's in full color until it's not, and then it goes back to being color again. It's about a super criminal named Super Enigmatics who surrounds himself with beautiful women in skin tight garb with machine guns, and it's he himself wears a dress suit and a red hood and red cape, and it's one of those ones where the bad guy doesn't necessarily win, but doesn't have his comeuppance either. The bad guy gets away scot-free and kills and maims and tortures and the like, and only to because he can. Why'd you do it? Because I can. Okay, that's fair because you're good. And he you get the list of why he's like the way he is, where he came from, what he did, how the reaction to what he did, and he's doing what he does because he thinks the public should know that they're being lied to. Like, how can you disagree with a bad guy, quote, bad guy, that speaks like that? You can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's one of the few graphic novels that I've read where the bad guy, spoiler warning, the bad guy gets away at the end. It's amazing. There's death, there's destruction, there's double crossing, and a bunch of other deeds. And it's amazing that the bad guy gets away at the end. It's by far the longest of the stories presented in the volume. It's backed up by, and it will all be over before you know it. Ellipsis. Stranger Street, and the prestigious banquet to be held in my honor, which is hardly nothing more, than Rich Stella chewing up pages with grotesqueries, ne'er-do-wells, criminals, monsters. That's not a bad thing. The main story is in color. The backups are in black and white. I would, like everything Richard Sell, I wholeheartedly recommend it. In a Glass Grotesquely. It's not going to fit in your back pocket, but it's a small graphic novel. $20. You can get it for. I think it's out of print, so it'll probably cost you whatever it costs. It's worth it. It's so good, and it's one of those things that. Oh, I see that Richard Sala has a new book out. Let's get it. Click. And then he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Exactly. No, I mean that's the thing. Yeah.
yeah. And you think every year you're going to get X amount of Richard Sala books until the man dies, and you don't get them anymore. It just goes back to what we said a bazillion times. If you see a creator at a convention, go up to them, shake their hand, thank them, tell them what they mean to you. The most they could say is, "Get away from me, you're bothering me."
That's true.
Yeah.
No, really.
Right.
You've said your piece. You've told them, how great you think they are. Sala definitely fits the category because I never got the opportunity to tell him. So,
Same.
yeah, there's that. In a Glass Grotesquely by Richard Sala. Yeah.
Well said.
I don't want to say powered because that makes it sound as if it was a chore. It wasn't. I made my way through quickly the second and third volumes of Search and Destroy, and goddamn, was that a good read?
Now you talking?
There we go. Yeah. Now you love me again. No, this was this was totally one of those times where it's all about the journey, not the destination. You kind of have an idea about where things are going, as our girl is on a mission on her revenge tour. But holy hell, to the twists and turns and some of the oh shit reveal moments can knock you on your ass. But I mean, the art is just absolutely amazing. Kaneko's style is fantastic. The expression on people's faces, the backgrounds with the buildings when you see the large city and everybody in it, and the creatures who are about to do their uprising. It's insane. And even Doro's origins are brought to light, and that's a bit that could be a bit of a punch, but yeah, overall it's a fantastic 3 volumes. I like Jason, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely one of the best mangas I've read. It's short and to the point. You don't need to go any further than this. It's a fantastic tale. Absolutely recommended. I will probably revisit this from time to time just to flip through it even and check out some artwork. But it's fantastic. Just as things play out, as she continues to reclaim what's hers, and the other creatures who she has to meet in order to retrieve those items. It's It's great stuff. Absolutely, hands down. I'm not going to gush any further because things have already been said about it, and I don't want to ruin the enjoyment for anybody else who hasn't hopped on this train foolishly. But yeah, I absolutely recommend it. We will see if it's going to be on one of my 10, but it's absolutely in the
there you
running
go.
for sure. Because yeah, I haven't finalized my list yet. I'm still going through things and highlighting things here and there, moving some things around. But this is absolutely worth your time without a doubt.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you didn't get to the third one because I've yet to read it.
Oh yeah, you gotta get it.
Oh, bro,
You gotta read it.
Oh, I have it. I have it. It's
Yeah.
just that it's one of those things that is on stack.
Yep. The other
Fucking
thing.
get to reading, bro.
And where did that stack come from? Cheapgraphicnovels.com.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Thank you very much. And check out Patreon. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. 2 tiers, $5, $10. Boom. Done. And leave us a review, please. No matter where you listen to this, leave us a star, or if you want to use text, that's cool. Review. It means a lot to us, and it also, as far as the algorithm is concerned, it isn't everything algorithm based at
Yep.
this point. Yeah, leave us a review. In your travels, I got this from cheapgraphicnovels.com.
you did.
Yeah, it is a hardcover published by New York Review Comics.
Oh, that's my shit. I love New York Review.
It is called the Complete Sea Comics
Oh yeah, yeah.
by Joe Brainard. What Brainard did was he did the comic pages before he distributed them, meaning he got a lot of poet friends, which amount to John Ashbery, Bill Berkson, Ted Berrigan, Rob Dash, Edwin Denby, Kenrick Elmsley, Dick Gallup, Barbara Guest, Kenneth Koch, Gerard Malanga. If I need to tell you who Gerard Malanga is, you're forward, please. Frank O'Hara, Ron Padgett, Peter Shagel, James Schuler, Johnny Stanton, Tony Tell. What he's done here is that he did the pages first, then he distributed them among his friends, most of which were poets. The comics range from adoration of Bushmiller's Nancy, onomatopoeic examinations, fake screenplays, dinosaurs, faux comic book pages like Wonder Woman and the like. To put it into perspective, if you are a regular reader of the big two, you'll absolutely hate this book.
Yes.
Yes, because it doesn't tell you where to begin, to end. If you're expecting a guy to walk into a bank vault and abscond with X amount of dollars only to be chased down by a clandestine creature of the night, you're going to be disappointed. It is a pastiche of comic creators, comic stars, Archie being one of them, faceless protagonists, the stage, the screen, it all done in head scratching. What the hell did I just read? Fashion. They can be interpreted a bunch of different ways. None of them being the right way, and all of them being the right way. I thought it was well done. It comes with an afterword by Brainer's friend. Most of the people are dead by now. Insectopolis, Bill. He does the afterward, and he knew Joe, and you get the two surviving issues of C Comics, the two issues that were published, and they're financed on someone else's, for the most part, someone else's dime. It's amazing. The names associated with this enterprise. It's just outstanding. It's New York Review Comics, so it's done well. It's oversized, complete with faux and intentional weathering, crossed out text. The way that it was produced is the way that you get it, right? It's amazing, and it's $45, but it's cheaper if you get it from a sponsor. CheapGraphicNovels.com.
Facts.
Yeah, I love this book.
New York Review is like another. They, along with 23rd Street, along with Silver Sprocket, are just on heaters, man. Like
You can read any page, any strip in this book, and formulate an opinion based on what you've read, which would be different than to someone who read the exact same thing.
Yeah, there's a book that came out this year, which I'm going to check out. I haven't read it yet, but also by New York Review, called The Smyths. It might be
Right.
Smiths. It's SMYT.
Yeah, Smith.
Yeah, and it's what caught my attention is it's actually edited by Arkuo Johnson and Dash Shaw, two creators I love. So I found it fascinating that they decided to edit and make this. But it's so it's about the original editor of the New Yorker, like back in the 1930s, did a strip.
Right. Yeah.
And this is collecting that and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating to me. So yeah.
Did you know that the women were abbreviated? And the few women that did cartoon work for the New Yorker were abbreviated, had their first names abbreviated. But
so people would know it was a woman? Oh,
right,
interesting.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But the men did not.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's baffling to me. Because the women did the bulk of the work. By far. Yeah.
And there you go.
The complete C Comics. Get it. New York Review Comics. They do good
For
work.
sure.
Yep.
Love it. Okay. In your travels, there's catching up on. It's a two for catching up on Exquisite Corpses. I know that I know that everybody involved is smarter than this, so I'm thinking this is a feint. But if it plays out the way this is heading, I think we know who's going to win this little tournament. Because in the,
Who is it? Because I have no intention of reading any of it.
Okay, so in the 8th issue,
Lightly.
okay.
Oh, so you can't. You
go
can't
light.
Yeah, because I know. Yeah, Vince. Yeah, so
okay.
well, basically, there's somebody. One of the contestants was taken off the board. However, I think somebody from the town might pick up that mantle. So that player may still end up taking it. So it might not be the person who started, but representing that state, they may still end up winning. So I'm hoping that's just kind of a little. They're throwing us for a loop. I hope they're not telegraphing it like this. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm still having fun with it just because it's a nice distraction from pretty much everything else. But I did decide, even though I haven't, I didn't finish the previous Scarlet Witch book by Orlando. I decided to try Sorcerer Supreme #1. Following,
that's good.
I liked it a lot. Chang looked great, but yeah. So Steve Orlando's picking up right after One World Under Doom, because what Victor did to save his goddaughter, and so Wanda is now your Sorcerer Supreme, and some people might have some issues with that. But yeah, it was a funky little first issue, fun little setup. She fights Dormammu right off the bat, takes care of that pretty easily, I think. And then of course we also cut over to Darcy, and Wong makes an appearance because of course Wanda's moving in to the Sanctum. Yeah, and we get some other Marvel Magic characters who make an appearance here and there. She does also have a face off with or faces off with the Vishanti, and that doesn't necessarily go the way the Vishanti may have wanted it to go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's I tend to always check out a new Doctor Strange book, even if it's not Doctor Strange who's the Sorcerer Supreme. But the I think Orlando's been having a lot of fun with this character, and that shows.
Yeah.
that comes through. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. The last page, we see a familiar friend or foe. So we'll see where it goes in the second issue. But yeah, I thought it was a solid start. We'll see. I part of me wonders if I trust Wong. But what when we're spending so much time on him and his thoughts, and I don't know if he, because obviously he may be partial to Steven, and I think he just wants to make sure that everything is right in this world. So I think he's right to be apprehensive and maybe mistrust her just a tad, but I'll be back for the second issue to see where it goes. It was fun. Bernard Chang is your artist on the issue, with colors by Ruth Redmond, and again, Steve Orlando is your writer as he continues telling the story of Wanda Maximoff these days. So yeah, in your travel, Sorcerer Supreme #1.
Yeah, I would love to find. Well, it's obvious who's responsible. I would just shake them and say, #1s don't work. Stop it. Stop
Yeah.
renumbering.
This is the third Steve Orlando Scarlet Witch #1, right?
Yeah.
Or is
Well,
it,
it's Dr.
no, it's the fourth.
I
isn't
understand
it?
that, but I'm saying it's. Oh, is it the fourth? Okay.
Because he had Vision. He had the Scarlet Witch and Vision series, right? That was right.
Yeah.
Vision
Oh,
and
okay,
Scarlet
I forgot
Witch was
that
right
one, yeah.
before this one. I think there were 2 Scarlet Witch series.
Yeah, there
Vision
were.
and Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch, and now Sorcerer Supreme.
Like, stop it.
Yeah.
It's
Speaking of
not.
that, I saw that Jed McKay is coming out with a new Moon Knight, and I'm like, that is like his 5th Moon Knight that Jed McKay has launched. Like,
Yeah.
why don't we just let Jed McKay do like a nice 6-year run on Moon Knight, like where he gets like 8.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stop renumbering.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a tactic that's not working anymore. It hasn't worked for years. Stop doing it.
Yep.
For sure.
No one gives a crap if it's number 352 or number 1157. No one cares. Just tell good stories. That's all we're asking. But
Yep.
stop. Okay, I'll shut up.
In your travels, the third of the three things that now. First of all, since we kind of were little tangent talking about the like some of the smaller publishers that we just love what they do, this is another one. Piao. They've done a bunch of awesome anthologies over the last bunch of years called X Mag, which we've talked about a bunch of those. And they have put out this wonderful woman's books. We have talked about her prior two books, Stages of Rot and A Frog in the Fall, over the years. This is Linnea Sterte. She is a Swedish cartoonist that again publishes her work here in the U.S. through Piao. This is the newest effort, and it's by far and away her most ambitious. It is called Garden of Spheres, and yes, this is the very book that I was not sent in exchange for Absolute Batman number 15. I, in frustration of them seemingly not clearly being able to accommodate the missed order, I found another retailer who had it and ordered it, so because I wanted to read it, and I'm glad I did because it's a fucking masterpiece. It's 330 plus pages of an oversized. It's soft cover with a dust jacket, but beautifully produced. And it is. I mean, to say that Linnea is paying homage to Mobius would be an understatement here. I understand anytime you bring up Mobius and compare Jean Giraud to another creator, like you're putting undue expectation on it. But I think in this case, it's fully justified. This is an absolute visual masterpiece. This, if you had told me that this book was published in 1978 in France, I would have believed you. It's that level of incredible detail with impeccable line work, beautiful women, like wildly detailed and beautiful, scapes, cityscapes, and naturescapes. And the premise is it's a sci-fi fantasy epic. Linnea actually put this out through her Patreon over the last bunch of years in different codas. It's a non-linear, at least the book as it's presented this way is non-linear, because the protagonist is an unnamed god who is born. We see her birth. She's born. It's almost like she has amnesia. Like she's born fully adult, like fully formed, but she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't like really know much about the world. So we see that, but then we also see over the course of these 300 plus pages her through all the through millennia, bouncing back and forth and experiencing things. And she is the god of entropy, basically the god of death. And many over the course of the book, centuries go on, she becomes known through societies know her to be the god, the undoer. They know her to be because she undoes things versus the makers who are the unmakers who versus most gods who are makers of things. And but despite her being this god of entropy, she's a pretty normal, she's curious about people and things and life, and much of the chapters are her meeting up with other amazing creatures or societies or demigods, trying to get to know them. In some cases she has romantic interests, sometimes she she's just basically walking through life as an immortal. And this book gives you a sense of her immortality back and forth through tens of thousands of years. It's just incredible stuff, man. It's out there, and it's so well designed, and it just immerses you in a universe that feels completely alien to ours. But yet, because she's a beautiful woman, and because many of the characters are there's a lot of ornate dragon creatures, and a lot of the demigods are really good-looking men and women. It just hits on all the marks, man. Like I said, this could have been in Metal Hurlant, and clearly that's what she's channeling. But I think it's far beyond a modern homage. It is of a quality that is more than this is not her aping that idea. This is her fitting right in and saying I was born in the wrong century because I should have, or the wrong decade because I should have been creating comics 40 years ago. It's awesome. It's really incredible. It's on a ton of best of lists. That's how I became aware of it. I know Brian Clark put me on it. I think Mitchell put me on it as well. So shout out to our slackers who have great taste. But this is just an incredible book. It is a book that if you have any interest in fantasy, any passing interest in the Metal Hurlant sci-fi, that obviously we all are fans of, you will love this fucking book. It is incredible in all ways. It is a visual stunner, and even though it's a big book, like I said, 330 plus pages, it went quick. It's not overly wordy, and I will also give her extra credit points on A plus on top of the A grade. She hand letters the thing, so yeah, it's great, hand lettered. And I should say, like, stylistically, the book bounces back and forth between completely fully colored, like lush painted pages, and then duotone. And I presume, like, I don't know the reason, like, it's not quite, like, it's not evident from the narrative, but it all works. It's gorgeous either way, and this is an incredible book, and I thank all of you lovely slackers for saying, Woodrow, you got to make sure you read this. So you were right.
There you go.
Garden of Spheres, Vince, make it happen.
Make it happen. Thank you for listening. I know I'm putting words in my co-host's mouth, but thanks for listening. Leave us a review. Check out cheapgraphicnovels.com and say goodnight. What's his name again?
Sexy.
No, it's just, I wouldn't go there. David.
Have you seen him lately? He is fucking. I mean, he was always sexy, but he's like extra special sexy
Good
now.
night.
Head's not big enough. Make it bigger.
Oy
Oy vey.
vey. David.
Nice. We love you so much.
Oh, for sure. Oh, Kloskers next week. Get ready.
That's right. They have until
Put
Sunday,
an end
right?
to 2025. Yep, Sunday. Put an end to 2025 and usher in 2026.
We out.
We out.
That's it for that one.